Welcome to BabbleOnGames. We are here for episode 6. This is the Babblecast. We are and will babble on. Today, we shall discuss with our skeleton crew New Mario Golf, Castlvania something or other. I actually don't remember, but Chris does because he's in charge of it. What it would be for EA to reimagine Dead Space with all this talk going around of EA possibly reviving an old IP. And we will get into a little bit of Neo, The World Ends With You, my personal thing that I will be talking about today because I absolutely loved the first one and I'm super excited about this one. Okay, well, we're gonna go around the horn as we do. My brother said, "Hey, man, you should really introduce everybody every week." And I was like, "Why?" But then I thought about it for a second and said, "You know what? I think you're right." So Julius Max, how are you this week?
I am doing just fine. I got a new microphone, as you can see here. We are fresh off of episode 2, River City Girls. You can watch that right now as a VOD on Twitch. And getting ready for our next episode, which will be Mario Golf, which we'll also talk about today. So doing just fine.
That's awesome. Crisco, say hello and tell us again what specifically about Castlevania you're talking about.
I'm actually going to be talking about the rumors of a Castlevania Advanced Collection. We've seen some stuff coming down the pipes with it getting ratings in various regions, and kind of exciting stuff for folks who enjoyed the series.
Okay, and how was your week?
It was pretty good. I am fresh off a nap this evening. So fresh, in fact, that I almost missed tonight's recording, but feeling pretty good.
That's very good to hear, my friend. Very good to hear. Johnny, you seem to be hard at work doing stuffs.
Yes. Just putting out the tweet for us. We went live, but overall, I'm doing all right so far. How are you, Jonathan?
Oh, thank you. I'm doing okay. For those who don't know, I work in effectively the grocery business. And around this time of year, it can be brutal. So Johnny also works in retail, so he understands the pains that we go through in this particular business. So with that being said, a little bit tired, but uh, again, we have our skeleton crew here, a fine selection of gentlemen to talk video game topics that we will do. So with that, we'll just jump right into it. Hey, can you tell us a little bit about Mario Golf? What exactly are we talking about today with this?
Well, a couple of days ago, reviews started coming out for Mario Golf from the press, and I've got the Metacritic pulled up on my screen here, and it's not doing too great. I mean, personally, a 75 on Metacritic is, to me, would seem pretty reasonable, um, but it's not like lighting the world on fire. A couple of the big reviews, IGN, for example, brought up the fact that the story mode's pretty light on content. There's only 6 courses to play from. It just seems like there's a lot of content that should be there that, they've discussed releasing DLC for free months after the games come out. And people are kind of wondering, well, why not have it now? Like, why is it releasing effectively half-baked? And those are all valid criticisms. I played for about 3.5 hours today. I got it from GameStop when they opened, and I have had a pretty good time with it. The single player story, if you will, they're right. It's nothing to write home about, but I don't know anybody who's ever looked at a Mario sports title and was like, yeah, it's engaging, it's gripping. It's 100% what I expected. I get to play some rounds of different types of modes, a couple of challenges, and level up, my me. I've got like a sweet beard and a really stupid hat and really ugly pants, and it's great. The way I would dress on the golf course. But again, it's nothing crazy. They did introduce a couple of cool gameplay modes that I really liked. One was cross-country golfing, where you basically are on like 9-hole section of the course, and you have to get the ball in every single pin in whatever order you choose within a certain number of shots. So you basically get to freestyle the course based on how you want to like mess with elevations and course obstacles and stuff like that. I thought that was actually the coolest thing I've seen so far. So I 100% get where the critics are coming from. All of this is valid, and it's actually kind of Camelot's MO. I don't know how many of you guys played Mario Tennis when it first came out a couple of years ago, but it was the same thing. It felt kind of empty on some of the features, and after a while, they started releasing more and more content as DLC. People forget that like Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U was kind of feature lacking as well. These are all valid criticisms. It's just kind of Nintendo's shtick, and Camelot specifically when it comes to the sports titles. Am I upset by my purchase? Not one bit. But I can understand for sure where some people would be a little peeved at Nintendo for releasing what could have been a much more robust title, if you will.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, I guess I understand. I guess I get that. That's the one thing. I mean, that really stood out to me when I heard people criticizing the story mode. I mean, I don't know how many people actually played the old Mario sports titles, but there's really not much of a story mode. I get then. Well, then why have it? Well, I don't know. Just be happy you have it. Like
For me personally, I prefer to be able to build up a golfer from scratch. I loved it in the earlier Tiger Woods golf games, and I loved it in the Game Boy Color and the Game Boy Advance Mario golf games. I find it to be a lot of fun. You kind of like you build up a character from very low, and you kind of it helps you pick up the mechanics of the game as well. When you're not trying to drive the green every other hole, you have to kind of figure out, well, how do I curve shots and how do I do this and that, and it's a little more challenging, and you kind of pick up on the mechanics a lot better. I prefer that way to play. That's my preference. I love the way they kind of structured that. But again, yeah, there's no story. It's show up to places, hit the ball, get a low score, get points to level your guy up. That's all it is.
Yeah, I mean that's the whole reason why I would pick this game up is effectively to play against you guys. Like I see zero reason. I get it. I understand what you're saying too. Like you like to be able to sort of start from scratch and build it up. And um, uh, I like doing that to a degree, but like when it's these games, the only thing I care about is just like beating you guys. Like I just want to play this game and try to beat you, and that's really the gist of it. Like I mean, we spent hours playing, tennis. Like so every now and then we'll bust out like tennis on 64. Yeah, I mean, it's I don't know. I think if the core mechanic is solid and the online is decent, then
Which it is.
then I
So,
think at
so
that
that's-
point it's worth $60. Sorry, I had to squeeze that in.
That's all right. SS Creative and I, he's in the chat now. We actually got a round 18 in just before I started setting up for tonight's episode.
And how'd that go?
Not a hitch. We're both on Wi-Fi, and it played phenomenal.
I gotta go get it.
I will get it too.
It's a lot of fun. Steve just in the chat pointed out we haven't tried battle mode yet, but otherwise it played flawlessly.
You know, the other thing too, people talking about the scores, aren't they like kind of in line with how the past have scored or reviewed?
As far as I can tell, it's the lowest one so far of all the
Oh.
Mario Golf games, but it's not off by much.
Yeah, so I mean it's par for the course, one might say.
Clank, the golf joke.
Thank you.
Mm.
Yeah. So I mean, what do you want? If you want a story mode, go get Golf Story. What can I tell you?
Story
you wanna-
definitely did the single player better.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's exactly what it was, meant to do. So, yeah. Well, thank you for convincing me now to freaking buy the game, which I wasn't planning on doing right away. But here we are, and I guess
You'll-
it's something I'm
you'll
gonna
like
have
it.
to do. I'm sure I will. I'm gonna get frustrated. I'm gonna get mad, and every now and then I'll win, and I'll complain the entire time, and you'll be like, "There, you won. Are you happy?" And I'll be like, "Man, I was doing a whole lot of complaining. I probably shouldn't have been complaining that much."
I do want to add one thing before we move on, John.
Yes.
Anybody who sits there and says that they don't feel like it's worth it is 100% in the right to do so. Like, I mean, more so than normal, this game is missing what I would consider like the complete package. But that's not going to stop me from featuring it on our show on Monday. It still is a lot of fun.
Okay. All right. Well said, Pat. Dudious Max. Thank you. So with that, let's jump on over to Chris Rowe. What do you have for us this week?
Well, unfortunately, very little on this particular game. It's more a leak than any real announcement. So some folks were crawling around some software rating boards listings and found that there is suddenly a couple of listings for a Castlvania Advance Collection. Konami has neither confirmed nor denied anything about the existence of this game or what it's going to be yet. But as somebody who only played Circle of the Moon way back in the day, I'm pretty excited to have the other two possibly available alongside it on some next generation consoles, just for the accessibility and the ability to play some of the Castlevania games I never really got around to in the first place. My very first Castlevania game was Symphony of the Night, and for the most part, the advanced games looked very in line with that, and hoping to get a chance to actually play them and really enjoy that experience myself.
Yeah, I think I would pick it up. I'm not too sure. I was never huge into Castlevania. Pat, didn't you dabble, or am I mistaken?
I mean, I've dabbled. The advanced, from what I remember, at least a couple of the games, is kind of where the Igavania really grew into its own. And that's kind of where he flexed his design a little bit more. Listen, I would love if they put this collection out, because trying to find them physical is obnoxious.
Impossible.
It's so expensive. And I would love it to be in all one collection, and I can just kind of forget about that part of the Game Boy Advance, collection forever. It's just hundreds of dollars for a cartridge and Game Boy.
Yeah, for carts only, and
it hurts. I can't take it.
Johnny, did you ever play any Castlevania?
No, because I, for one, am not like a big platformer game
Well,
player,
that's
and
true.
as you all know, I am the resident person that sucks at it. So,
I love watching you play Fall Guys. It's like one of my favorite things.
yeah, it's just constantly.
I'll be
seeing you
clear,
die.
I never really considered myself great at platformers. I just enjoy them.
Yeah, it's just like with me, I get very frustrated really easily, and Jonathan could definitely contest to that.
It's true.
um, but
Go ahead.
yeah, no, but if it does happen, like this would actually be a pretty decent collection to dive back into, knowing how big of a fan base people have for Castlevania. So, all for it.
Okay. Speaking of Johnny, your big category of games really is fighting. You and Kyle had a stream on Sunday.
Yes, we did.
So go ahead, talk it up.
We are bringing back the actual fighting game Sundays. I forget what it was called. Kyle Nate did something really good, but like the name of it is like leaving my mind right now. But
I'll find it for you, Johnny. Hold on.
it's the actual starting soon screen though. Kyle knocked
Oh
it out
yeah.
the park with that. It was, oh my gosh, it was so good.
What game did you guys play this past Sunday?
we actually played Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Because it was kind of a toss up between Infinite and um, there was one other fighting game that I had, but it was like, yeah, might as well because I never really dived into Infinite before, and even though it's kind of like the sucky out of the 4 games that came out because of Marvel's dabble into like, hey, we want to make it like the MCU. No,
Yeah.
it was bad. It was
Not
really bad.
not everything needs the MCU treatment. Um,
Uh,
well,
Sucker Punch Sundays, by the way.
there it is.
so
Sucker
pretty.
Punch Sunday. It's the picture of Kyle as Vegeta and me as the bunny from Clay Fighter 63 in the 4th. It's so good.
Well, Johnny, while I have you, you're up with EA's possible Dead Space reimagining. You want to talk about that?
Sure. So let me just talk about just Dead Space in general. Like Dead Space is one of those games where I fell in love with because for me I am a big horror fan. Like when it comes to movies and then when it comes to video games, it piques my interest. But the thing is, before Dead Space, I was always scared, legitimately scared of like any of the other ones like Resident Evil, Silent Hill. Like they scared the crap out of me, and I couldn't play them because I was that bad. Dead Space was my introduction to it, and I fell in love. I actually started 2 and then 3 and then played 1 after that because I knew the story when I was playing 2. I just never really dived into the first one, and I finally finished it. And I really wonder why most people actually gravitate more on the first game out of the 3. But besides all that, it was rumors that Dead Space might be coming back, which in my mind, I'm trying to really put together how they can with how they legitimately ended the series for 3. Um, but I'm always game for it. They might have a different character because of Isaac and everything else. But the uh, article I pulled up says the rumor originated from GameBeat's Jeff Grubb, who hinted that Star Wars Squadrons CEO EA Motive is developing a Dead Space game, set to be revealed at the EA Play event on July 22nd. Since that tease, other publications have reported that EA Motive is indeed revealing a new game at EA Play, and that will indeed be based on an established IP, though they've stopped short of saying it will definitely be Dead Space. That was until a new report, Gematsu, who has separately heard that the EA Motive game is a Dead Space revival, and that will be a reimagining instead of a sequel. Okay, that should answer my question. What exactly reimagining means for Dead Space is unclear, but looking at other video game reimaginings may offer some insight. Okay, well, since it's a reimagining, I'm totally like excited because just the franchise in general. I just give it to me, please. That's like I'm like that excited about it.
So, go ahead.
No. That was all I was gonna say.
So I guess when they say reimagining, like, are you thinking like a different camera angle? Are you thinking maybe the tone is even darker? Maybe the tone's not as dark? Like, what do you think they would do? Do you think they probably wouldn't tweak all that much? I mean, they're calling it a reimagining, so I mean, are they coming up with a new story? Is it just well, like what would you like to see? Would you like it to be more in line with what they've done in the past, or would you like to see maybe just a first person, version of it, or over the shoulder? Like, what would you prefer, Johnny, since you like it so much?
So I don't want them to veer off the third person. Like I don't want a first person Dead Space. It's definitely like out of not really out of the norm, but more or less like out of my comfort zone when it comes to these type of games. What I really want though is the elements they introduced in 3, because there are ways you can actually customize your weapons with different attachments and different guns. Like you can literally put a shotgun on the bottom of a shotgun and have the double fucking shotgun. And what's funny, I'm gonna like a short story. So me and a friend of mine co-opted Dead Space 3, and we have like a little joke that we have because of that game, because of that attachment. And what happens is when one of us actually has it, like, look at my gun, look at it.
I'm going to steal that. I'm going to use that now.
Yes, a double shotgun, and it was glorious. You can put like mods on it and everything. It was ridiculous. It was overpowered as shit. Like you can literally put a bottom attachment shotgun to like an automatic assault rifle on top, and have it is obliterate anything that comes full circle. It was so good. It was overpowered for no apparent reason, but it was so enjoyable. Oh my god. Okay, I digress.
So basically what I've learned is that we need to get some specific Black Kool-Aid merch. It's a shirt that says Black Kool-Aid, and then in quotations, look at my gun, look at it, exclamation point. And I would wear that proudly.
Oh god. But what I was just like veered off. So I apologize.
Good.
So what I really want is the same style that they had, like that atmospheric, like you don't know what's on your left or your right or the top or the bottom, because they could come from anywhere and you have no idea where they're coming from. Just have that feel, but get rid of the co-op aspect. I want it to be single player, straight on, in your face, atmospheric, monsters coming at you from all of angles. Let's go.
Okay. All right, that's a pretty decisive list of things that you want. So I want to play that game, Johnny. That's something I want to play. I mean, I just love your general enthusiasm for it. So I mean, it's that alone puts it on my radar.
Thank you. It's about everybody's radar. If you're a horror fan and you like that type of stuff, 'cause it's in space too. It's like it gives you feels of like a little bit of The Thing and Alien mixed together. It's like it's so like crazy good. Like why not?
I'm just stuck with your shotgun on a shotgun, and I've got the exhibit meme going on.
I'm telling you, look that up. You can literally do that, and it's so good. It's good for no
dog,
apparent
I heard
reason.
you like shotguns.
Here's another shotgun.
I think my favorite part of this whole cast now is Chris and Pat playing peekaboo.
Yeah,
I was completely distracted at the end. Like all of a sudden, Pat was gone. Pat is back. Pat is gone. Pat is back.
One of us is trying to figure out why he's coming in so washed out.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
my browser decided to take a dive, so we lost my video feed, and is what it is.
You're fine. You're all good.
So we're on to me. There's a particular game coming that I think is flying under the radar a little bit, in my opinion. I think Metroid Dread got shown off, and now everybody's on the Dread train. And I can't really blame them. But, man, there we go.
Oh,
Neo the...
what
happened?
I'm sorry. I don't want to like interrupt. I just remembered how the quote went is not exactly what I was saying.
Go ahead. Get it in right.
Okay. It was said, "Look at my dick! Look at it!"
Well, that's not what I was expecting. But...
Nope. Not even a little
All
bit.
right,
I
well,
don't know if we should put that on a shirt.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead, continue.
yeah, I think that's a little bit less appropriate.
I think we'll go with gun. I think we'll go with gun. So anyway, Neo, the world ends with you. I feel
I'm
my
sorry.
ears
I'm
are
sorry.
violated.
I'm sorry.
I need an adult. Anyway, the demo
I
dropped
am an
today.
adult.
The demo dropped today, and I put some time into it. And man, it really captures the feel of the old game very well, very well, in my opinion. The other thing that I found that I didn't know, which I think this is a pretty good deal over at Best Buy, you get 2 months free Premium Plus subscription to Funimation with a pre-order, which is perfect because if you're like me, and even though you really love the game, you're a little bit fuzzy on kind of the story here and there, because I mean, gosh, I can't remember when that came out. I was shoot, the 2000s, I think. So with that being said, I mean, a subscription to Funimation, what they did is they've animated the game. Effectively, they've made a show out of the first game. You can go back and watch that show and get yourself caught up with the story before you buy it next month. So with that being said, man, I can still hear the music in my head from the first game, and I boot up this one, and I gotta tell you, it's just as good, but it's its own new thing. It's completely fresh. The style is just it's I don't know how to describe it. Like it's right up there with, like, in my opinion, because I'm currently playing through this one right now. I think style wise, I put it up against Persona 5 Royal. Like I think it's that stylized. I think it's that good.
Ooh.
I the gameplay now the gameplay is a little bit different for obvious reasons. For those who remember, the top screen was basically kind of like what do you want to call it? Kind of like Dance Dance, where you have the different directional inputs that would fall on the top screen. So you'd have to watch that, and with your left thumb, you're trying to put those inputs in, and then on the bottom screen, you're also trying to watch that, and you're moving your character around and trying to attack what's on the bottom screen. So it was a great game for those who liked to feel a little bit overwhelmed. I don't know any other way to say it. Between the fast-paced gameplay, the awesome music, the story, which now that I'm playing, Persona 5 Royal, I've kind of, and I think about it more and more, how much The World Ends With You is similar to a degree. In fact, when the game was announced, I remember a lot of people on Twitter kind of saying like, "Oh, they're just ripping off Persona now," and I was like, "Man, these young kids don't even know, man. It came out before Persona 5 Royal." But with that being said, the demo came out today, so you should definitely check it out. I'm getting this game 100%, and I think it sort of harkens a question of like, are we seeing these older IPs make a comeback, right? Like these games that I think we talked about it with E3, right? Like these games we never thought we would get again. The World Ends With You sequel. Never thought we would get that. Honestly, I never thought we'd get another one.
Hearing The World Ends With You described as an older IP is... Oh,
I thought that was a 3DS game, was it not?
no.
It
was a DS game.
It was a
Oh, was it
DS
a DS
game.
game?
Yeah. It's the only handheld game that I've ever beaten.
That's impressive.
That's the only handheld game I've ever beat.
It's funny because I've bought The World Ends With You on DS and now Switch. So twice. Never finished it. Not even finished the first week.
You're just a crazy person. That's all.
Enjoy it. I just always get distracted, and then that's that.
Look, I download the demo, play the demo. All I can tell you is it delivers. it delivers. Like I didn't think it'd be able to capture me the way the last one did. And already, like, I'm sad because this demo is going to come to an end eventually before I can get the game. And I'm not going to want to stop. The other thing that's nice is that your save will transfer over to the game when you buy it. So at least, I don't have to start over. But, if I did, or had to, I wouldn't be all that sad because I'm really enjoying what I'm playing. The pins are back. The game is back. For those who don't know, you have these different things you have to do from day to day in order to play the game / win the game. It takes place in the city, but it's like another version of the city, if you will, kind of like Persona. But yeah, I really can't put into words just how happy I am that it's as good as it is right now. I am 100% satisfied. I really don't know what else to say about it. So with that being said, I do have a question for you guys that I didn't tell you I was going to ask you, and we'll probably end it with this. So we have Metroid Dread. That's coming now. We have The World Ends With You. That's coming. We have Advance Wars. So keeping in line with that theme, what sort of old Game Boy Advance or DS game would you like to see come to the Switch or modern platforms, let's say?
Just combine all 3 Final Fantasy Tactics games into one game and release that on Switch.
I've seen that request quite a bit, actually. There's a lot of people who love that franchise.
It peaked at 1.
It peaked at 1, but I do appreciate that you wanted to combine the other 2 because they did have their own little bits and pieces that I would like to see implemented in a new Tactics game.
Yeah, they were worth playing. They just God, it's so hard to beat the first Final Fantasy Tactics game. Like the only game in my mind that comes close is the game it kind of apes in Tactics Ogre. Like,
dude,
those are like 1 and 2 for strategy games in my mind. Like, still to this day,
they're really good.
Johnny, do you have one?
Yeah. Port the original 2 Golden Sun games.
Dang it, you took mine.
I'm sorry.
I suck at that.
Because
I have
a backup though.
Because the thing is, it was just like nostalgia for me. It was probably one of the first handheld RPGs I actually got introduced to, and I fell in love with it. There's just so many elements in that game that just let like a positive imprint on me. Like, this is something I can get into. I think that was like my very first, not very first. Yeah, I can say that. My very first actual experience with an RPG before Final Fantasy, before I actually got into Final Fantasy X. Because that was like my initial foot in the water. Because I never played anything before that, and I don't think I actually played anything after that either. But yeah, 10 was like my first like legit dip into physical media console RPG. But Golden Sun was the legit first. But yes, I want that. I want both of those games ported for sure.
John.
Yes.
John, before you go, could you guys imagine if they just did like the Camelot collection and included like a bunch of their old Sega Genesis games, like when they did like the Shining Force games, or like you get some of the Shining Force games and you get some of like you get Shining in the Darkness, and then you kind of just show their history, like do what they did with the Rare Replay, but just all Camelot as the studio. Like that would be really cool, and it'd be a really, really throwback. Now that I think about it,
Yeah.
like disgustingly throwback.
Chris.
You kind of put me on the spot here, looking for an older franchise to bring back, because we've taken a couple of the best ones, especially Tactics.
Parasite.
I don't know that I would really want to see a new Parasite Eve. I know a lot of people do, but No, I just don't have that nostalgia for it that a lot of people do. I didn't play it back when I realistically should have because I was a child and didn't have the money to buy these things. So I don't have that connection.
Excuses.
A lot of folks did. I mean, realistically, I would kind of like to see a new Dragon Warrior Monsters game, and I know kind of the first reaction is, well, Pokemon, but it's different to me. Dragon Warrior Monsters has a special place in my heart. I used to play the first entry on my Game Boy all night, all the time, and really loved the game back when I was little. And I think it would be nice to see something new there.
Okay. Yeah, I can get behind that. I mean, obviously there's differences. I mean, so what were like why specifically that one other than just like it's just got a special place?
I mean, really, it's kind of nostalgia bait for me. I enjoy the mix between Dragon Warrior gameplay and then the sort of Pokemon style catch 'em all type deal. You have a lot of flexibility in that you didn't get in early Pokemon games, and I just really enjoyed having the ability to sort of crossbreed monsters and make your team your own, and then take it out there and use it to kind of complete the story and eventually battle your friends and things like that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that sounds like a good time to me. I can get behind that.
I only ever had one friend who played that game with me, by the way, so that was kind of limited my options there, but we had fun with it.
I'll tell you what, if it comes back, I'll play with you.
All right.
So to kind of round us out, my backup plan. Thanks, Johnny. Sonic Chronicles.
Mm.
You guys remember that one?
Was that the RPG?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
really liked it. I really liked that one. I think it was made by BioWare.
Of course,
If I
it was made
remember
by
correctly.
BioWare.
But I really liked it. I thought it was really cool. I thought it was like a neat idea. And personally, I you know what? Sonic right now kind of needs a new idea or something different. So I mean, it doesn't have to be a huge scale. I think there's two of them, if I remember correctly. So yeah, man, if you're giving me Advance Wars, give me Sonic Chronicles 1 and 2 as well. So that's my backup choice since I had to think there for a second because Johnny took the best one.
Uh,
You even had prep time for that.
I had to look that up to make sure BioWare developed that because for a second I didn't believe you.
That's okay.
Because
Yeah,
that's absurd.
I have one more backup.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure you guys remember this game. It is actually was a Sega Genesis game, Vector Man.
Oh, Vector Man.
That has a special place in my heart. I think what's weird enough is that chili cheese dogs were synonymous for that game because that my first time actually rented it and played it, I had a chili cheese dog while playing it, and I think at that time I couldn't even eat them anymore because of that. But that Vector Man was one of my favorites because it was weird, but I liked that type of weird at that time, and I still do, and that would be awesome actually seeing that ported somewhere. Doesn't really matter how. Like I will honestly get a Genesis now or another console that can actually play Sega Genesis cartridges, and then get that game on physical copy if I can actually find it, which that's very doubtful. But I would love to actually start playing that now.
Well, I mean,
Retro games in this economy.
Oh God, not the economy bullcrap.
you might be able to check it out at the Dudious Max library.
It is a library at this point. It's beyond collection. It's not quite repository yet, though.
Oh.
Have faith in you, Pat. You'll get there.
So I don't know how well this is going to work out in real time, but we're gonna test it. So I know Ryan is near the couch. He's just not on this particular episode.
There's a door between him and I. Do you want me to get him?
No, he can hear us. He's listening because he's responding in the chat. So I demand that Ryan come out of that room and do the thing at the end of the show.
All right, double time.
Look at that.
Stand to go alone. Take this podcast with you.
Good night, everybody.